Imagine waking up one day and discovering that the person everyone ignored, the girl treated like she has no value, suddenly becomes the bride of the most powerful Oni in the Japan. Sounds like another Cinderella story, right? Well, that's exactly what Oni no Hanayome wants you to believe. But beneath the romance lies a story, absolute loneliness, self-worth, family abuse, destiny, and learning to accept genuine love after spending your entire life believing you don't deserve it. Today we are diving deep into the Oni no Hanayome, why Japanese readers absolutely love it, why it became such a huge hit online, and whether it actually deserves all the hype. Trust me, by the end of this video you will understand why thousands of people couldn't stop reading this series. Let's begin. What is Oni no Hanayome? So welcome back to Anime PTB. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Before we jump into this review, let's quickly understand the world. In this universe, humans and Oni coexist. Some humans are chosen to become the brides of the powerful Oni. Being chosen isn't just about romance, it changes your entire life. It may be power, status, protection, respect, everything changes because an Oni's bride isn't just someone's future wife. She is someone connected to one of the strongest supernatural being in the society, and that's where our main character enters. Meet Yuzu. Our heroine Yuzu isn't special. At least that's what everyone around her wants her to believe. Since childhood, she's always been compared to her sister. Her family shows her sister with affection. Meanwhile, Yuzu receives almost nothing. Imagine growing up in a house where your parents celebrate one child while treating the others as if she barely exists. That emotional neglect becomes part of her personality. She apologizes for everything. She doesn't believe she deserves happiness. She expects disappointment before anything even happens. And honestly, that's one of the strongest part of the story. The author doesn't just tell us Yuzu is insecure. You actually feel it. Every conversation, every reaction, every smile she forces herself to make. She is someone who has spent years convincing herself that being ignored is normal. Then comes the turning point. She meets one of the strongest Oni, someone rich, powerful, respected, the kind of person everyone admires. But instead of choosing someone beautiful, powerful or popular, he chooses Yuzu. Not because of pity, not because of coincidence, not because he genuinely sees her, and for someone who has never been truly seen before. And for someone who has never been truly seen before, that changes everything. This isn't just a romance, it's a story of someone who's slowly learning that maybe, just maybe, they deserve to be loved too. Here is something interesting. If you ask readers why they continue this series, most won't answer the action or the fantasy. Instead, they will say something like, I wanted to see Yuzu become happy. That's the secret. The story creates emotional investment. Every character feels like you are rooting for someone who has spent her entire life losing. And when good things finally begins happening, it feels satisfying. That's something many romance stories fail to achieve. Now let's talk about the romance. This is definitely one of those stories where the male lead appears almost perfect. He is confident, calm, protective, powerful, and always seems to know exactly what to say. Some people love this, others think he's just little too perfect. Personally, I think he worked because of Yuzu. She's emotionally broken. She constantly doubts herself, so having someone patient enough to slowly help rebuild her confidence actually fits the story. Their relationship isn't exciting because of the dramatic fights. It is exactly because of emotional healing. Sometimes the smallest moments become the biggest victories. A compliment, holding hands, or sharing dinners, looking into someone's eyes without fear. Those tiny moments carry enormous emotional weight. If I had to describe this manga in one sentence, I would say it's like sitting next to warm fireplace while it's raining outside. Peaceful, comforting, soft, but occasionally heartbreaking. It's not just trying to overwhelm you with giant battles every chapter. Instead, it wants you to slow down, enjoy the atmosphere, appreciate the romance, feel the emotions. That's exactly why so many readers binge dozens of chapters in one sitting. Not because something is crazy happening every minute, but because the emotional progression feels addictive. You keep telling yourself just one more chapter and suddenly it's 2 in the morning. Let's appreciate the artwork. One thing that immediately grabs your attention is how elegant everything looks. Character expression communicate emotions incredibly well. The clothing designs feel luxurious. The Oni themselves look powerful without becoming monsters. Background creates a dreamy fantasy atmosphere. It's the kind of art that makes you pause on a certain panel just to admire the details. And the romance manga absolutely needs expressive faces. Fortunately, this series delivers. Sometimes uses expression says more than an entire page of dialogue. That's the good visual storytelling. Now here is the interesting question. Why did this become such a huge success? Because the formula works. Take an underappreciated protagonist and give her emotional scares and introduce an incredibly charismatic love interest and fantasy. Mix in beautiful artwork, then slowly reward readers with emotional healing. It's a formula we have seen before, but execution matters more than originality, and that's where Oni no Hanayome succeeds. It understands exactly what its audience wants: comfort, romance, hope, and the fantasy that someone will love you exactly as you are. That's an incredibly powerful emotional fantasy, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with enjoying that. Is it perfect? Of course not. If you are expecting intense psychological twist, fast-paced action, or complicated political world buildings, you might feel disappointed. The story focuses more on emotions than a large-scale fantasy conflicts. Some readers may also feel certain plot developments predictable, but honestly, predictable doesn't always mean bad. Sometimes people watch romance because they want comfort rather than constant surprises, and this series understands that perfectly. Why should you read it? If you enjoy stories like sweet romance, fantasy worlds, proactive male lead, emotional healing, beautiful artwork, slow character growth, you will have a great time. If you mainly watch action animes, this might not become your favorite, but even then, you might end up staying because of the characters. No, final thoughts. Oni no Hanayome isn't trying to reinvent romance. It isn't trying to become the next dark fantasy masterpiece. Instead, it tells a simple story with genuine emotions. And sometimes that's exactly what people need. A story reminds us that even a something who had spent years believing they are worthless can still find someone who sees their true value. That's why this series resonates with so many readers, not because it is the most complex romance ever written, but because its emotional core feels sincere. And honestly, those stories often stay with us more longer than the flashy action scenes. So, if you are looking for the romance fantasy that feels warm, comforting, and surprisingly emotional, Oni no Hanayome is definitely worth checking out. I would give solid 8.8 out of 10. Now I want to hear from you. Have you already read Oni no Hanayome, or you are watching the anime release just now? I just loved the first 3 episodes also. They are very great animated. I just loving its vibe. And do you think that the choose bright trope is getting overused, or do stories like this prove it still works when executed well? Leave your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. ANIME PTB. I will see you in the next video. Until then, keep watching, keep reading, and keep discovering amazing stories. Until then, bye bye, sayonara.